Hi there, guys. I thought I'd do a real quick video on an effect that is very popular, very commonly used, but maybe a little bit confusing. So here it is, the shockwave effect. It only has a handful of parameters, and center X and Y pretty obvious, so we will skip over those. But first of all, let's go to the options page. Make sure you have scale to buffer on here. This is something that Scott added. Earlier this year or late last year, can't recall exactly. But that means that when you're dealing with these values here, it represents a percentage of your prop, so a percentage of the buffer. So it was set to scale to buffer. So when I have 50, it means it's going to be half the size of my matrix as a because I'm on the matrix effect. So what I've got here right now is 50 and 50. That means there's really no change. You can see it's a solid circle, or it's a non-moving circle. It's because it starts at 50% and it ends at 50%. Let's change that up. We'll say it starts at 0% and it's going to go to 50% of my matrix. Really simple concept here, right? So when it comes to scale to buffer, if we set this to 100, there we go. You're going to see it starts at 0 and it scales to 100% of the matrix. It goes to the full extent of the matrix. Really simple to understand. If I change this around and make this go from 100 back to 0, you're going to get the same effect, but in reverse. Makes sense, right? Now, similarly, we have width 1 and width 2. So right now it's set to 0, but really it's 1. You can't get a 0. And I'm just going to put this back just because it looks more sense here. We usually think of a shock wave as going outward. So right now it's width of 0, but pretend it's 1. I don't think you can really have 0. So let's go with 5 or 20 and 20, 21, 21, 21. That means the width of this band will be constant. It'll be starting at a width of 21% and it'll end at 21%. So there you go. If you wanted to change size, starting at thin and it works its way out to 21% on the edges. So let's go 0 to 10. So it starts out 0 and it's going to go to roughly 10% on the edges. Really simple. Now, this is one color. If we add a second color, that means it's going to be white for half of the expansion, and then it'll be switching over to red for the last half. So it blends from white to red. If we add a third color, roughly 33% of the time it's going to be white, then it's going to be red for a third, and then green for a third. Now, the beauty of that scale to option setting is if you have a sequence where you've put it on here and then you decide to put it on a different prop or a different size prop. And I'm going to simulate that by just making it half my prop. You'll see the effect is exactly the same, but it only uses half of my matrix. I didn't have to change any of the scaling options. It still retained the exact size. If I go to a third, let's go to a quarter. This will be interesting. I'll go top left. We should get that same effect going from 0 to 100% of the buffer, which is we're scaling it to the buffer. So now the 100%, when I say 100, 101 actually, it's going to be this one quadrant. I didn't have to change the settings or anything. It just magically knows. So there's that hidden little trick called scale to buffer, which is a default option now going forward for anybody newly sequencing. That checkbox should be set for you already, and it makes designing props much easier. So if you want to copy these effects down to a different sized prop, and I paste it here, you'll see the same results works there. So there's your new effect sequence for the day, and yeah, have a great day.